So, check your phone. Notice the quiet screen. Notice the tension in your chest because she hasn't replied, because something shifted between you and you didn't even register when it happened. You believe that being kind enough, available enough, and supportive enough will secure her loyalty. You believe love works as a moral exchange. That if you give fully, she is obligated to treat your heart with care. But look at the reality around you. The nice guys are overlooked. The people-pleasers are placed safely in the friend zone. The men willing to sacrifice everything for her are often the ones she respects the least. Because nature does not value what begs to be kept. Psychology does not reward constant availability or unchecked desire. Attraction is not built on comfort. It is built on tension. Niccolò Machiavelli, the architect of strategic power, understood a truth about human behavior that modern culture prefers to ignore. He recognized that people are ungrateful, unstable, deceptive, and self-serving. He knew power is not handed to the virtuous. It is seized by the strategic. You are here because you are exhausted from being a passenger in your own relationships. You are tired of confusion, emotional games, and passive-aggressive silence. You want to understand why some men command attention effortlessly while you labor for it endlessly. The answer is not your appearance. It is not your income. It is your frame. Over the next 20 minutes, we will dismantle the myths you've been taught about women, love, and connection. We will apply the cold efficiency of Machiavellian strategy to the unpredictable world of relationships. I will give you 7 psychological keys. These are not pickup lines. They are shifts in perception. They are tools that, once installed, make manipulation impossible. But understand this. Once you see how control works, you cannot unsee it. You will recognize the strings everywhere. If you are ready to stop being the admirer and start being the prize, stay with me. Let's begin the dissection of the nice guy identity. Principle 1. The economy of absence. Scarcity creates value. Consider a simple economic truth. If air were sold, you would only pay for it if you were suffocating. Right now, you are free air. You are everywhere. You are abundant. You reply instantly. You are always available. You rearrange your life the moment she shows interest. You think this demonstrates commitment. Psychologically, it signals low value. Machiavelli wrote, "Familiarity breeds contempt." He understood that the more visible a leader becomes, the less he is feared and respected. The same rule applies to attraction. When you are always present, you deny her access to the most powerful stimulant in the human brain, imagination. When you are absent, she has to think about you. She wonders what you are doing, who you are with, and whether she occupies your thoughts. In that uncertainty, her mind constructs a version of you far more compelling than reality. But you remove that space. You overwhelm her with presence. To regain control of the dynamic, you must learn calculated absence. This is not ghosting or manipulation. It is choosing your mission over constant attention. When you are genuinely occupied building your life, training your body, and sharpening your mind, your absence is not a tactic. It is a consequence of value. A woman instinctively knows the difference between a man pretending to be busy to gain approval and a man building something larger than the relationship. One seeks validation. The other commands respect. You must learn to tolerate silence. When you send a message and she replies 3 hours later, the old version of you panics. He double texts. The Machiavellian version puts the phone down and returns to work. You do not punish her with silence. You simply refuse to reward anxiety. Humans are wired to pursue what pulls away. It is the hunter instinct. If you constantly move toward her, she must retreat to maintain balance. Stop chasing. Stand firm in your purpose. Turn toward your goals, and watch how quickly she adjusts her direction to follow. If you understand this, remember the rule. My absence has value. Principle 2. Emotional unpredictability, intermittent reinforcement. The human brain craves patterns, but it becomes bored by consistency. If a slot machine paid out every time, you would play briefly, collect your winnings, and leave. The reason people stay is unpredictability. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes you almost win. This randomness triggers dopamine spikes comparable to powerful drugs. Psychology calls this intermittent reinforcement, and it is the strongest conditioning mechanism known. Most men are predictable, predictably kind, predictably reactive, predictably insecure. She knows exactly how to make you smile, apologize, or panic. You are a story she has already finished. Why revisit it? Machiavelli advised leaders to be both lion and fox. The lion is force. The fox is cunning. You must embody both. Break your own behavioral patterns. If you are usually reserved, surprise her with controlled intensity. If you are typically affectionate, withdraw briefly and become analytical. Not to punish her, but to remind her that your attention is not guaranteed. It is earned. When your reactions are uncertain, she must focus. She studies you. She becomes careful. That attention plants the seed of fixation. This is often mistaken for cruelty. It is not. It is emotional autonomy. Most men mirror her emotions. If she is happy, they are happy. If she is distant, they collapse. You allow her mood to control your state. To hold the frame, you must become your own climate. Calm in chaos. Content in distance. When she realizes she cannot trigger you at will, she begins seeking your approval instead of expecting it. The moment she asks herself, "What is he thinking?" the dynamic has shifted in your favor. Principle 3. The mirror of narcissism, validation strategy. Everyone is self-focused. Machiavelli understood that control does not come from stating your desires, but from reflecting theirs. And what does a woman desire most? To be seen. To be understood. To feel like the central character in her own story. Most men try to impress by talking about themselves, careers, possessions, achievements. They believe this signals value. In reality, it signals insecurity. It says, "Please approve of me." The strategic approach is the opposite. You speak less. You listen more with deliberate intensity. You ask questions others avoid. You explore motives, fears, contradictions. Why do you do that? What are you protecting yourself from? You present strength, but I see what you hide. When you engage her inner world, you create a bond that feels rare and inevitable. She interprets this as a unique connection. In truth, you are reflecting her ego back to her. You give her the spotlight. But here is where control resides. You control the mirror. You decide when it is present and when it disappears. Intense validation creates dependence. When it is withdrawn, she will chase it relentlessly. She seeks the version of herself she saw reflected in your attention. Use this carefully. Do not compliment her appearance. That is common. Validate her effort, her complexity, her shadows. Acknowledge the parts she conceals. Make her feel both revealed and safe. That is psychological intimacy. And it binds more tightly than force. Principle 4. Destroy the pedestal. Valuation. There is a critical flaw in your internal programming. You have been conditioned by Disney, Hollywood, and even family narratives to believe women are flawless beings, pure, elevated, and meant to be admired. This is the pedestal effect, and it is deeply unattractive to high-value women. Consider the logic. If you treat her like a celebrity, she will inevitably treat you like a fan. Fans do not share intimacy with celebrities. Fans buy tickets. Fans wait their turn. Fans observe from a distance. Machiavelli taught that a leader must see the world as it truly is, not as he hopes it to be. You must see her accurately. She is human. She has weaknesses, insecurities, and a past filled with mistakes. She has ordinary habits and imperfect moments. When you look at her through worship, she feels your perceived inferiority. She senses that you believe she is above you. And women are hypergamous. They date across or upward, never downward. By placing her on a pedestal, you are positioning yourself beneath her. You are signaling that you are not equals. To regain balance, the pedestal must be removed. You must meet her eye to eye. You must be willing to disagree, to challenge her opinions, to call out poor behavior. You must tease her, test her, and engage her without fear. When a woman is accustomed to men agreeing with everything she says, the man who calmly states, "I disagree," disrupts her expectations. It shows that you are not intimidated by her appearance and that you value your own perspective more than her approval. This is respect. A woman cannot respect a man she can dominate. And without respect, attraction does not last. By removing her from the pedestal, you allow real connection to exist. Stop apologizing for your presence. Stop laughing at jokes you don't find funny. Stop agreeing with ideas you don't respect. Be genuine. Hold firm standards. When she crosses a boundary, correct it calmly, even playfully, not with anger but with composure. Shift your mindset from, "I hope she likes me," to, "Does she meet my standards?" Principle 5. The authority of silence. Machiavelli understood that the man who speaks the least often holds the most power. In negotiations, the one who fills silence loses. In conflict, the one who raises his voice loses. In attraction, the one who overexplains loses. You speak too much. You justify yourself out of fear of being misunderstood. You send long messages to clarify nuance. So, every unnecessary word drains authority. Mystery cannot survive overexposure. If you reveal your entire life story immediately, there is nothing left to discover. You become a solved equation. You must remain partially unknown. Silence is a tool. When she tests you, provokes you, or seeks a reaction, offer none. Maintain calm, unreadable composure. Let the silence linger. She will feel compelled to fill it. She will explain. She will seek reassurance. Silence communicates confidence. It signals self-possession. It suggests you are evaluating her, not seeking approval. It activates uncertainty. Why isn't he reacting? What is he thinking? Remember, the leader does not justify himself. He acts. Never declare your value. Never announce your boundaries. Enforce them through behavior. Disrespect is addressed with distance, not speeches. Control the pause. Before responding, wait a few seconds. Breathe. Then speak. That pause disrupts expectations and gives weight to your words. Principle 6. The willingness to walk away. Total independence. This is the most powerful position available, and it cannot be imitated. The genuine willingness to leave without regret. Machiavelli advised leaders never to rely on the goodwill of others, only on their own strength. If you need her, she controls you. If you prefer her but do not require her, you are free. Many men remain in unhealthy situations because they fear emptiness. They fear solitude. They tolerate disrespect and manipulation because they negotiate from weakness. The moment you truly internalize that you are the prize, the entire dynamic shifts. When you understand there are countless options but only one you, fear dissolves. This is not a bluff. Bluffing is easily detected. You must build a life so purpose-driven, so full, that losing her would be inconvenient, not devastating. When she knows you will calmly allow her to leave the moment boundaries are crossed, she will not test them. Strong boundaries create emotional safety. Weak boundaries create instability. When your limits are firm and consistent, she can relax. Leadership requires direction, and direction requires certainty, with or without her. This is the paradox of connection. You only keep what you are willing to lose. Cling too tightly and it slips away. Release control and balance is restored. Build your life. If she wishes to share it, she must respect its structure. If not, the exit is open. That energy is compelling. It is the presence of a man who cannot be controlled, and therefore becomes the man many want to influence, and failing that, respect. Now step back. The title promised control over others, but notice the pattern. Absence, unpredictability, removing the pedestal, silence, walking away. None of these control her. They discipline you. That is the real lesson. You cannot control another person. You can only control your actions, reactions, and standards. Past failures came from being governed by impulse, by desire, by validation seeking, by fear of being alone. When those impulses are mastered, you become centered. You become stable. Attraction does not respond to force. It responds to order. Calm presence outweighs intensity. When you are the most grounded element in the environment, everything else adjusts around you. That is not manipulation. That is alignment. That is simply how nature works. So do not step into the world trying to manipulate women with tricks or tactics. Instead, apply discipline to your own mind without compromise. Let the nice guy die. He is ineffective, and he survives by pretending. Give rise to the prince. He is grounded, decisive, and honest. The world is waiting, but the throne is not external. It exists within you. If you are ready to stop pleading and start leading, write this in the comments. I choose power. And understand this. What comes next goes even deeper into the mechanics of human behavior. You have learned how to stand your ground. Next, you learn how to move. Stay with us. Subscribe.